All right, what is up, YouTube? And if you're listening out there on the Boatcast podcast out there on Spotify, Spreaker, all those other audio-only places, we appreciate you being here. February 11th, we are on our way to NBA All-Star Weekend. But first, we're going to introduce our panel again for tonight. We got my man, Big Nige. What's going on, Big Nige?
Not much. Ready for today's show and hopefully ready for an interesting All-Star Weekend.
Well, we will definitely get into that. And also our esteemed guest, King Speech Row. What's going on? How you doing, man?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, man. Always happy to be up here. Always happy to yap mouth about these sports.
Yeah, so a lot going on in the NBA, of course. All the dust is settled after the trade deadline, and everybody's players have gone to the team that they've been traded to. We've got to see Luka last night, a little snippet of Luka. What you guys think? Is it going to work out there in Lakerland? I mean, they got the perfect team to bring Luka in against the Jazz, so they didn't have to play too hard. But what do you think about night one, Luka?
I'll go ahead and start this one. I thought it was good. I like how JJ Redick kind of like staggered the minutes like between Luka and LeBron. This was kind of a little warm-up game because nobody's taking Utah seriously.
No.
So it looked good. Only time will tell. I'm not going to be too high on it, too low on maybe the next game that follows up, but I'm excited though.
Well, luckily for them, the next game is against the Jazz again. So yeah. So he gets a lot of warm up to get back into game shape. So what you think about Luka last night, King Speech?
Yeah, Luka's Luka, man. I mean, it's the Jazz. They got the Alabama treatment. You know how they you schedule the cupcake at the beginning of the season to get that get your confidence up.
Perfect time.
Yeah, I noticed that all four of the Lakers Utah games were before the All-Star break. So, the schedule will pick up in the second half, and that's when we'll see where the mix is. I saw they signed Alex Len. I heard Laker fans were treating it like they signed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or something. I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jawalton or whatever. I mean, like Alex Len. Listen, he's a nice player. He was the fourth pick of the 2013 draft, but guys journeyman for a reason. But I mean, good solid pickup, big body, 6 fouls,
pretty much. And they cut Christian Wood, who I haven't seen him in a Laker jersey in forever. So
yeah, he's been hurt. Not a really great defender, more of a scoring big man. Yeah.
So yeah, Luka is officially a Laker. Let's talk about the other piece in that trade, which was Anthony Davis, who we all saw have a monster game at first against Dallas, and then Anthony Davis became Anthony Davis for the Mavs and went down. Will be out for a couple of weeks. If you saw, what did you think of AD's first game with the Mavs, other than of course the injury?
I think that AD showcased his skill set. We understand the kind of player that Anthony Davis is on both sides of the court. Like you alluded to when you had talked about how is this going to work, you highlighted his passing ability. We saw the passes he was throwing to Daniel Gafford and to the other pieces on the team. So we understand what Anthony Davis brings to the table. Biggest concern, of course, health. And he's earning his nickname Day-to-Day Davis. I was seeing a whole bunch of stuff on social media. Anthony Davis is reminding the world why he is here for the Dallas Mavericks medical staff. But I mean, hopefully he gets back soon. He could be out for a couple of weeks, like you said, or a month. But they still have some time to turn it around. But the time is ticking for this team, and their window isn't very long. So, hope well.
Absolutely not. Okay, what you think, King Speech? AD played a solid game, but
yeah,
he's in street clothes now.
Yeah, he played a solid game. I mean, I love the spirit. I mean, I've been asking this from AD for all those years and with the Lakers. Like, show some spirit. Show that you're a dominant talent. He came out there really, obviously besmirched, right? Everybody acting like he was a scrub. I mean, it's almost like my Julius Randle for Carl Towns trade. I mean, obviously Carl Towns the better talent. Julius Randle's put up better numbers lately, but we know Carl Towns a better player. But Julius Randle, obviously being much maligned, but look at it, he's playing pretty decent this year. So it's almost like, yeah, you got to kind of show. I guess AD had to show guys like, hey, I'm no scrub. I still, I know Luka's 7 years younger, but I'm no scrub. And he showed how dominant he can be up until the point where he got hurt. Those groin injuries, adductor, like that whole solar plexus area, that can be tricky. He actually had that same injury, if you remember, the year after the bubble chip against Phoenix. He had that same.
And he tried to play through it.
He tried to play through it, tried to give him something, and Phoenix blew him out of the building. So I mean, pretty much that was the end of the Lakers dominance. But I think the Mavericks did. I mean, I think the Mavericks are going to be fun, either with or without him. Hopefully, he gets back enough to get them some games in the standings. But I think they're going to be a fun team. I mean, don't forget Max Christie is playing pretty well as a throw-in. Sometimes, like OG Anunoby last year, right, for my Knicks, he got hurt, but then the throw-in, Precious Achiuwa kind of stepped in his place and were playing spirited games, and then, the Knicks wound up getting the second seed from the third seed. So sometimes, again, I think a lot of teams got to have that next man up mentality, and I think they'll just try to hold the fort down while AD, rehabs. Hopefully, he gets back on a quicker end of that. But I guess you gotta. I guess they got to be extra careful to make sure the most important is he's there for the playoffs run, and hopefully they can win enough games to get out of the playing spot. So,
yeah, absolutely, and it's unfortunate that he goes down the first game back. And Dallas is already having some big men issues with injuries, and I heard Max Christie has a shoulder, something going on with his shoulder, so. Questionable for the next game. So Dallas is, I don't want to say they're cursed, but this is not helping Nico Harrison's case at all that his first game he goes down. But I still think they'll be a good team, and hopefully AD gets back quickly and is able to really help that team going forward. So speaking of Anthony Davis, All-Star weekend is this weekend. It starts pretty much Friday. AD, of course, because of that injury, will not be in the All-Star game. Replacing him is his teammate, Kyrie Irving. And also Giannis is having some calf injuries. And Trae Young, who we all thought would be a All-Star beforehand, does get a spot on the All-Star team. So with that said, we have All-Star Weekend coming up. We have, all the usual events. And it's going to be an interesting one this year because we'll talk about that. But let's look at the All-Star Weekend events and kind of, talk and predict what's going on and preview what would be going on. I'm going to share my screen here so we can see some of the stuff that we got. Okay, well, let me share. Here we go. Okay. And okay, let me full screen this. Okay. So we have, of course, All-Star Saturday Night, which has the skills challenge. We have the 3-point contest and something that resembles a dunk contest. So what you guys think about this year's well, let's go through each of the events. The skills challenge, of course, usually starts things off. We have Team Cavs, which has Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. The Rooks, Zachary Misashi and Alex Zar. Team Spurs, my boys, Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama. And, of course, Team Warriors, since they're the host city, Draymond Green and Moses Moody. So what do y'all think about the skills challenge? Is this going to be a, fun event? It's always, I don't know what Scotty Barnes was doing last year, but it's usually a fun event. So what do you guys think about this year's skills challenge?
I don't have no opinion on it. I mean, it's like what? Like I'm just asking why. Like as a fan, why do I care about a skills challenge, especially with Draymond and Moses Moody? Y'all couldn't do no better than them two. Really? I mean,
they gotta have somebody.
It makes no sense to me. This is it's just a waste of time. Like, yeah, it's a warm up to bigger events, but like you could fill this place card with, I'm gonna say it again, a 1v1 tournament. Put some of these people against each other. Make Risa Shea and Alex Sarr play one-on-one. I don't know.
Ooh, that'd be ugly.
It'd be better to watch than the skills challenge nonsense. I mean, this is outdated, man. Just like
I don't know, but
outdated.
The Draymond Green and Moses Mooney thing. It's in San Francisco. Okay, I see that. That's why. But again, they should have. I mean, they should have two better players. I guess Draymond has to get his little moment in the sun because he ain't on the team. He ain't on the All-Star game, and he ain't gonna be in any other event, right? I don't think we want to see him in a slam dunk contest, do we? But you got Wemby. Look, you got some heavy hitters there, man. You got Wembanyama, Chris Paul, the old sage, the two rookies. I mean, okay, hey, maybe they'll actually show that they should have why they were the first and second pick. But I mean, honestly, to me, I guess it's between Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. Those are two. Like Evan Mobley is a guy that we need to see. And Wembanyama, man, I mean, listen, he's the next face of the league, right? With the old point guard, so it's a little something there. Again, Moses Moody, they couldn't have. I mean, I know Steph is in a 3-point contest, right? So you don't want to give him double duty. But Moses Moody, I mean, they don't have another young guard on that team that we could showcase. I mean, I guess you couldn't have Jordan Poole and Draymond Green, right?
That'd be more entertaining.
Oh boy, I mean, but yeah, I mean, look, Wembanyama, I guess they'll be rooting for him. I guess they want to, again, Alex Sarr. I mean, I can't think of a worse 1 and 2 pick in their rookie years I've ever seen. Like, I mean, I go back to 2000. At least Kenyon Martin was pretty good, and then if you go back to 2013, I know Anthony Bennett was trash, but the Oladipo was pretty good. So I mean, I can't think of a. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, he was All-Star.
Yeah, are either of them in the running for Rookie of the Year? I don't even. I like
Absolutely not. That would go to. We'll talk about him later, but that's going to go to the rookie coach. I mean, the rookie in San Antonio, but I mean, Alex Sarr is a defender. Why is he in a skills challenge? I don't know.
There's a lot of French flavor there too.
Straight filler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. We'll talk about it later. But yes, the skills challenge. You get those guys out there. I thought it was 3, but I guess not this year. Maybe it wasn't, but I thought they always had a third person. But yeah, there's 4 teams.
Oh, didn't they used to bring a WNBA player from? They used to bring in a WNBA player.
They have started doing that, but they had like 3. I think they would have like a legend, in it too, and I don't know. But they switch it up, and these are your teams, and maybe it'll be good. I don't know. But
I'd rather watch paint dry.
Big Notch rather watch paint dry. So moving on, we have the 3-point contest, which I'm gonna pose a question later, but the 3-point contest has always been, something, unless you got Michael Jordan in there, it's usually pretty good to watch. You get to see who can shoot, and this is a 3-point shooting league now. So we've got some heavy hitters on this one. We have Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Cameron Johnson, Damian Lillard, and Norman Powell. That's a who's who of who can shoot threes. So what do you guys think about the 3-point contest and the people that decide to be in this 3-point contest this year?
I'm gonna
Either
let
one of
King
you.
Speed start with it.
Well, I don't want to see Jalen Brunson in it. I mean, as much as I'll be rooting for him, it's the one.
Oh, we might have lost King's speech.
Okay. I mean, well, I guess we'll go through that. But I mean, again, like you said, Jalen Brunson, not like why? Cade Cunningham. I love what the Pistons are doing, but again, why? I mean,
I mean, you gotta got people. They, you know, at least they stepped up. At least they stepped up.
But like, dude, like this is what I'm saying. Like these aren't even like the best 3-point shooters. Like they should be the best of the best competing with one another. Like this is in San Francisco, right? This is why is Steph not in here? Where's Steph?
I figured they might have done what they did last year with Steph and Ionosuke.
Ionescu, Sabrina Ionescu.
Okay, yeah. What they did with him against the WNBA player as far as the 3-point, kind of competition. We know who they wanted, but of course she declined. But I was hoping that would become a regular segment of the All-Star weekend. But
you want to know what's crazy?
What's up?
Caitlin Clark's a bigger name than all these people up here. I mean, at least in terms of relevancy right now.
A hot take.
That's not a hot take. Nobody's talking about Dane. Nobody's talking about Brunson or Cade or like we're talking about a name, one name that's going to put somebody in the seat. She's a bigger draw than all these guys. So the fact that she's not in this right now because she'd rather have her first 3 being like, for the Indiana Fever, I respect that. Yeah, and honestly, looking at this roster, I don't blame her for not showing up. Who's she competing against? Cade Cunningham? Jalen the Brunson burner? Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, again, All-Star Weekend is cooked. Let's just call it what it is, man. It's cooked. We're
gonna get to that when we get to this dunk contest. But I mean, I agree. Would you, if you were Adam Silver? I mean, I know they reached out to her for this, but would you start incorporating? Since the WNBA is kind of, they're growing. They're getting a little bit of shine, and their players are starting to get a little notoriety. Would you try to, kind of put some of those players into the NBA's All-Star Weekend? Would you try to put a Caitlin Clark in a 3-point contest, or even just have her go against Steph? Would you have, I don't know how else you would do it, but would you kind of put some of those figure something out for Angel Reese? She can do a skills challenge. Put some of their big stars in the NBA All-Star Weekend like they've done in the past, and kind of try to draw some eyes from them.
I'll be honest with you. The only name that I can see really drawing eyes is Caitlin Clark. It's not much of a disrespect to the rest of the WNBA players, but if we're talking sheer marketability, the number one name that comes to mind is Caitlin Clark. So yeah, if I'm Adam Silver, I'm for sure throwing whatever I can. I'm throwing the kitchen sink at Caitlin Clark to get her to come be a part of All-Star Weekend because, like I said, it's cooked. We did just see in the 3v3 league the 101 tournament where Breanna Stewart lost. I forgot the girl's name. It's a tough one, but anyway, but we just saw that, right? And when I alluded to in the video that I put about the 3v3 league, and if you haven't watched it, y'all need to go watch it. But I would like the NBA to do something like that. Like fans have been clamoring for a 1-on-1 league, like a 1-on-1 tournament, All-Star Weekend. It doesn't obviously you want to see the best of the best compete, but even if you don't have the best of the best competing, you can still get really high level competitive meaningful games. Maybe you see a De'Aaron Fox play against Donovan Mitchell, like 2 dynamic guards who
Jalen Brunson
can do something. Yeah, or Jalen Brunson, the list can go on. I mean, like I said, when you could have the rookies play against each other, Risha Shea, Alex Sarr, see just how deep their bag is in a 1v1 setting. We understand that they're not moving the needle too much for their respective teams as of this moment. But maybe you light a fire in them. And like I said, make them play for Rookie of the Year. Make that they're showing in a 1v1 tournament where you have the rookies match up against each other positionally, of course, because you don't want a center playing against a point guard. Yeah. But yeah, like something like that. But I mean, if I'm staying with this and who I think will win this, I mean, I think Tyler Hero is a sneaky favorite, even though he is a streaky shooter at times. Obviously, you got to throw Dame's name in the hat. My sleeper is low key Norman Powell. I think he is a very underrated shooter. He's more of a scorer in my opinion. Like some of these guys are just like mainly scorers. Like I don't think Brunson's a 3-point shooter. I think he's a scoring point guard. Garland, I think he's one of the better shooters on here just by his jump shot alone. But all that to say, bring Caitlin Clark over here because the NBA needs her for All-Star Weekend and get some better names on here, man. Because this roster is honestly disgusting.
I mean, what about the Tar Heels' own Cameron Johnson? I mean, to me, that's my sleeper. Cameron Johnson. He's going to win it. But, I mean, I agree. And could it be because I don't want to go here, but your guy, Mr. King, doesn't like one-on-one. He said one-on-ones don't really move him. He's not a one-on-one kind of guy. So, the fact that he said that, I don't think it had no bearing on
absolutely not.
But maybe they will see, what Unrivaled's doing and other other entities are doing. And, as we finish going through these contests for All-Star Weekend, we can kind of, I guess, brainstorm on what they can do, because this might be the worst All-Star Saturday night we've ever had. So let's move on to this. Is King's Speech there now?
Yeah, I'm back. I was knocked out. I was knocked out. The little one knocked my phone and
okay.
Someone closed the window while I was in. So
okay. So what do you think about this 3-point? This field?
I heard Big Nige, and I think that's the issue. Like these guys, if the NBA was better at storytelling, these guys would be bigger names. And that's the problem. I mean, like Jalen Brunson was killing in the playoffs last year. And see, that's one thing as a Knicks fan, again, I gotta put my orange and blue glasses on. I mean, the guy had 40 point games four times in a row. Here's the list of the guys that did that: Jordan, Bernard King, Jerry West, Jalen Brunson. End of list. That's I mean, come on. Those are big names. So to do that in the playoffs, that right off the bat. But look, I didn't want him in this because I don't want him messing up his 3-point shot. Like it's almost like in the MLB. They like sometimes they said sluggers would go on a slump after participating in the home run derby because it kind of messes up their swing trying to swing for all home runs. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm. So while King's Speech doing his thing, the 3-point, I mean, I think it's a pretty good field. I mean, you at least got some names in it. And we're going to speak, like I said, we'll talk about the dunk contest here in a second, but at least you have some all-stars competing in it. Matter of fact, you got Brunson. You got almost four all-stars. Well, Dame's an all-star, ain't he?
Yeah, it should be Dame.
Yeah, so you got 5 all-stars. So you got 5 all-stars competing in a 3-point contest. At least you have some name value, and that's what is sorely missing this year.
Are we calling that name value? Are we sure this is name value yet?
I mean,
Cade is cool, but like
Dame's a name guy. Come on.
He's about 45 years old now. It's too late.
Well, I mean, he could
Dame had his time when he was competing against Steph Curry.
I mean, Steph is 500 years old. So,
but but you talk about name value, and Dame was really good when Dame had somebody to challenge. Now it's like Dame's the old head. Who are these guys that are competing against him? Like, we don't know because nobody cares about these names. Like Buddy Hield. Do you care about Buddy Hield?
I mean,
do you?
I don't, and I think that's what's kind of missing is they should have had somebody from Golden State from that team
Even bring Clay. Bring
to
Clay.
challenge. Yeah, I mean, have like King Speech was saying, we have some type of storyline to kind of get some interest because Buddy Hield can shoot, but is that that doesn't move the needle. Have Dame going against Clay and Clay having his big comeback, and we'll hear how the fans react to him. But Steph would have been perfect for this role because obviously he is the biggest star for the Golden State Warriors, but unfortunately we don't get that. We get Buddy Hield as the guy from the hometown guy. But I mean, they are names. Come on now, they're names.
Come on now, they're names on paper, but I'm talking about appeal to the fans. I'm sorry, and maybe it's just me. I'm not moved by none of these names on this list for a 3-point contest.
Who would you put in there that would be a name that would kind of draw eyeballs?
Steph, Clay, KD. I mean, it's not like we're asking these guys to, give me 100 maximum effort guarding somebody. We're just telling them to shoot the basketball. You could even bring retired guys, like bring Ray Allen out of retirement. He can still shoot the ball. We see Gilbert Arenas all the time flaunting how he can shoot the ball. Put him against today's competition. How do they stack up? If I'm a fan, I want to see, can these guys shoot better than Ray Allen at 40-something years old? Probably not, but I'd like to see it.
So here we go, because we're kind of moving to a topic I was going to bring up later, but so are we saying that the talent pool is dismal enough that they might need to bring in older players to draw eyeballs to even the 3-point contest?
I don't think they're lacking talent. I mean, I definitely think some of these names shouldn't be on here because I don't think they're 3-point shooters. But no, I don't think they're lacking the talent. Again, it's like King Speech I cannot speak right now. King Speech said, it's like a tongue tie saying King Speech for some reason. But what he was saying is like there's no story behind these guys. Like Jalen Brunson, like he's been doing some good things for New York, but again, that's it. Cade Cunningham has been suffering mediocrity at the worst ways in Detroit, clamoring for help. Darius Garland, again, they're having a fairy tale season because the last season they've been respectable, don't get me wrong, but no one has seen how good they've been this season because they just came onto the scene. Tyler Hero, he was a bubble warrior. Now he's been up and down, like Buddy Hield, we know how inconsistent he is. Like these are not names that like the fan cares about. I don't care about these people. Cameron Johnson, great shooter, great two-way guy, could give two rips about him. Dame's 55, and Norman Powell, he just stepped into this role after being a six-man pretty much most of his career. I don't care about these guys. There's no story, no sustenance. There's nothing to gravitate my attention to besides watching these guys shoot the ball. So if that's the case, bring some guys who already have name value, who already proven 3-point shooters, because most of these guys aren't, and make them compete.
Okay. Well, since King Speech is having issues, we're going to move. Speaking of no sustenance, tongue-tied there, we go to the slam dunk contest, which is normally the main event of All-Star Saturday night. We've had some epic wars in this contest. And then we have what we have this year. Okay, so this year's talent pool consists of defending champion Mac McClung, who is, again, still a G Leaguer. I don't even want to try to mess up his name, Mataz Buzelis. Yeah, him. Stephon Castle, Rookie of the Year from the San Antonio Spurs. He's probably the biggest name in this pool of talent. And Andrew Jackson Jr. from the Milwaukee Bucks. Is the dunk contest dead?
Yeah. The dunk contest is definitely dead. Again, we're not talking about talent because a lot of these guys on this list can jump. We've seen Mac McClung Matas Buzelis, I know he can jump because he put somebody, I think it was in Detroit or Atlanta, one of them. He is a tall, lanky white guy. He can jump. Like he's about 6'10", like long wiry frame. He can jump. Stephon Castle, I know he can jump. I've seen him put, I won't say a bunch of posters, but he's definitely caught some people this year. So you definitely want to go check that out. And then Andre Jackson. I don't know about that. That's another conversation. And then Andre Jackson Jr. I mean, we saw him where almost his whole like neck chest level was at the rim when he did a putback from the running from the 3-point line. So like all these guys can jump. My concern is you have to be able to jump and have creativity. Because what's all that bounce if you have no creativity? Where's Ja Morant? I don't care that he doesn't want to dunk. Where's Ja Morant? I understand Zion can't go. Cool. Get healthy. Even though he's actually been playing pretty decently, even though they lost to the Kings, but we're not going to talk about that. But whatever the case may be, where are the names?
Where's Ant-Man?
Ant-Man. Where are the names? Where's the box office appeal? There are nobody. So again, how can you expect the common fan, not even people who are hardcore basketball fans who know all these guys, the common fan, they don't know these people besides maybe Stephon Castle. If I walk to a common fan, are they going to know Andre Jackson Jr.? Not unless they're a Bucks fan. Matas Buzelis, definitely not going to know. Even if you're a Bulls fan, you might not know who he is because they suck. I'm just saying, man. It comes to a point where the NBA has to look within themselves and really figure this out, because putting this in front of the fans, it's only losing more interest and losing your respect with your fans. You're losing people. They don't even want to watch All-Star Week.
No. I mean, I just don't know what Adam Silver was thinking when he put those names. And I don't know if if it's him or whoever who's organizing the All-Star Weekend. But they had to think, if I was Adam Silver, I'm throwing a couple million at Ja, Ant-Man, maybe even Zion, somebody. But if you say the 3-point contest is devoid of names, just look at this roster for the slam dunk contest. I mean, do any of those other than Stephon Castle actually play?
Buzelis plays. I think he plays. I don't know. His rotation minutes aren't the best, but I think and I could be wrong. I think 15 to 20 minutes a game. Andre Jackson. I think he's a starter now.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched.
He's kind of like a wing defender guy. Just super athletic. Doesn't give you too many points, but definitely is more of an effort guy from what I've seen on the Bucks. And then Mac McClung, G League player, Stephon Castle. He has an underrated like deceleration, like where he he'll go into the lane, he'll take his 1-2, and then on that last like little second step he takes, it's like a stops on the dime and then's able to score. Like he kind of reminds me of Shea when he does stuff like that. Like obviously he's way more athletic than Shea, but I like his deceleration game.
But he's not a name that should be in the dunk contest, as with only 4 players and with probably the most known player being the G Leaguer, who is a 2-time dunk contest champion.
Trash.
This is pretty sad. And I hear King Speaks back. What do you think of this dunk contest? Because this just
I mean, you were talking about the 3-point contest. At least 7 out of the 8 guys are actually all-stars. I mean, the all-stars should be able to tell the story itself. I mean, this situation, and again, I mean, there's a guy on TV that said LeBron killed the dunk contest by never entering. And then, I mean, the more and more names, like LeBron was, let's be real, let's keep it real. LeBron was the first name to pretty much refuse it. He refused it for 22 years. At this point, what are you asking him to do it for? I mean, Zion, the fact that Zion and Ja have never done it. I mean, the last 2 big names were LaVine and Gordon. I mean, it's just pathetic. I mean, wouldn't you want to, like, shouldn't it be a requirement? My fantasy basketball league, right? We did it where the new guy has to be the commissioner, because the commissioner is pretty much a thankless job, right? He has to run everything and listen to everybody else's gripes and, hey, that's not fit. So why don't you make it to where you got like the best dunking rookies or the second-year players? At least do that, because it'll give them a chance to get on the, all right, hey, this guy can dunk. The problem is, again, none of these guys. What Stephen Castle's the only guy that even averages more than 5-6 points a game. I mean, that's it. It'd be one thing if we had these guys averaging 15 in the regular rotation. Stephen Castle is not only be the only regular rotation NBA player, and even he's kind of a six man. So it is horrible. Like I said, you said the 3-point contest is bad. Those guys at least are all-stars. Those guys, I mean, and the question is, Dame won it twice, hasn't he? Dame was a 2-time champion. So, I mean, at this point, Dame's name value has went down, being the second guy in Milwaukee rather than the first guy in Portland. But I mean, this is again, no disrespect to these guys. They all are amazing dunkers. They are going to be, but it's like you're going to sit there and be like, who, like, why? Okay, you dunked amazingly in this dunk contest. But when am I going to see you get 20 in a real game? See, the NBA does a horrible job of telling stories. Like the guys that in the 3-point contest, the story should be told about their, the world should know who Cade Cunningham is, because he's a hell of a player. Again, Brunson, these guys are hell of a players, but they're like you said, the big nines. You want to see Steph, you want to see Ray. I mean, guys that we already know and guys that we've seen already. You want to see those guys, but that the fact of the matter is, can I blame ESPN? Can I blame TNT? I remember in NBC the way they told the story, and it wasn't just Jordan. It would be the Sonics. You would basically, okay, who am I going to watch in this game? The Sonics are playing a big game against Utah. Well, we all know Stockton Malone, but then it came a time where Sean Kemp and Peyton had to be, then that let Strip wind up on that team, and they had, you did the Blazers, Drexler, Duckworth, Porter. These guys were almost household names, even to the non-casual basketball fan, because the coverage told a better story. Now you're not telling a good story. And then again, McClung is nice. We saw him at Georgetown. Where did he go after he left? After he left Georgetown, he went to Texas Tech, right? The Red Raiders.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, we knew from high school he was an amazing dunker, but he's just not that great of a basketball player. Obviously he's better than us, right? But again, he's not in a regular rotation of anybody. Like, so
it's just Bronny.
Rookie, right? A rookie, but of course, a matter of fact, I forgot, right? Bronny and Bron Jr. Bron and Bronny, they said no, we don't want it. We don't want to be in a skills challenge. Mm-hmm. That would have been a big name, right? You're selling millions of jerseys, but obviously it's about Bron and Bronny was asked to be in a skills challenge. They declined, but this is, and again, I guess you can't, if you're Silver, you can't make these guys, you can't compel these guys to do it, but. There's no pride. There is no pride. The dunk contest, I'm not saying it was always lit, but it was a time when it was lit. When it was Dr. J, and when it was Jordan versus Neek, I mean, damn, even when the Nate Robinsons of the world was competing, the Spud Webbs of the world was competing. Those guys, you would look on the Atlanta Hawks and see them like get regular rotation minutes, and you saw Nate Robinson would score 40 in a game. Like, I want to see one of these guys go out and get 40 in a game, and not at the end of the season when nobody's playing for anything, right? I want to like that. Maybe could build a star. I'm of the ilk that, again, if you're gonna tell me that 37-year-old KD and 37-year-old Curry, and I guess at 36, I'll only put another a year on them, but they'll be 37 4 years in, right? If you go tell me those are the guys you want to see, that means the league is doing a bad job of promoting your product, and that's pretty much the issue. I think that's what when we did the All-Star, who should be named, right? Again, you're giving us it's the week after the Super Bowl. Basketball takes the first stage, and now this is the time to showcase your best. But there's no pride. Again, we have to, we'll get into the main event, right? Which is not even the main event. I believe the main event is these 3-point contests. So I know. Look, football can't talk because the Pro Bowl became a joke too.
Yeah.
At least that's a contact sport. You kind of get it, right? You kind of get it. I mean, shoot, maybe maybe they should do a skills challenge, right? I remember back in the day they used to do the track athletes, like that decathlon thing they used to do back in the 70s and 80s, where they would just guys of different sports would compete in athletic events. Maybe they should do that instead of what they do. But yeah. I don't know. It's just, again, it's just pride. Like look, I preach too much old school stuff, man. But there was a time when the Wilt Chamberlains and the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars and the Dr. J's, they would go out to the blacktop at Rucker and play serious. Errol Manigault, like who's who with go, and even Kobe and them played the entertainers, right? Cooper Flagg went out there at 16 and did his thing in the entertainers. If you're not playing, if you're not just having the desire to play against the best, even if it's an exhibition, and just show out, okay, you guys got guaranteed contracts. Paying you 60, 70, 80 million a year. Look at it. Goes back to what when I was on FYF talking about Paul George saying he was bored, and then saying the All-Star to be a week vacation in the middle of the season. I mean, bro. Well, let's see what they do, man. Like I said, get some pride. That's all I ask. Get some pride.
So that brings me. You kind of alluded to it, but that brings me to my next question: is should the 3-point contest be the main event? I mean, when your biggest name is Stephon Castle for the dunk contest, should you at least have a competition with actual names people know, finish the show out?
I mean, I've always been on the proponent of having a 1v1 tournament. But if we're talking about what they have currently, I mean, because the All-Star game's a joke. So the only thing where it's semi-competitive is the 3-point contest. So will they move it? Probably not, because of the tradition of the NBA, but something's got to change.
See, it's like you might have a boxing card where the main event is a lackluster fight, and like one of the undercard fights steals the show. That's what happens with the 3-point contest. Now you can't put it on Sunday, right? You can't put it on Sunday, and the All-Star game still has to be on Sunday. Or maybe can you just do everything on Saturday and leave Sunday alone? I don't know. Again, TV partners. Yeah, they might have to. TV partners gonna want what they want, but I know one thing: they are pissed. I'm sure they called Adam Silver after last year. This is a joke. Look at what we're paying for, and this is a joke. If you can't get these guys to actually play a serious game, then we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board on what we're giving, because that I'm sure just for the All-Star game alone, that's I can imagine eight figures, right? Just to broadcast that alone. So we'll take that off the table and putting that in our pockets, and maybe save a few jobs down at ESPN and whatever. I mean, yeah, bro. It's just again, just like all I could look. They'll never listen to us. I know, they'll never listen to us. They'll sit there with their elitism and talk about how difficult it is to fly around on charter jets and masseuses and all the state in the yard, and they'll call us haters because we have to work real jobs while they make more in a minute of play than we'll make all year. But I mean, really, guys, just have some pride, bro. Again, look at the reason why you make the money you make. We put I pay a lot to stream certain things. We pay a lot to stream. We pay, again, that all goes into the equation. That all goes into that all goes into that equation, which The players, when they do the CBA, the players get 53% guaranteed or whatever it is. The owners get 47% of revenue guaranteed, and that's because of the ratings, the streaming, the league pass subscriptions, stuff like that. So that also brings into the cap, which brings into your salary. So it's all kind of programmed in there. That's when we see a guy when we see a Jimmy Butler get $62 million. Well, it's because the fans are spinning. And if you're not going to listen to the fans, bro, I mean, again, I guess they got us over the barrel because we're going to keep watching anyway. But I mean, just show some pride. That's all I can say. Show some pride. Again, you're out there with the best in the world. And to be called the best in the world is an honor. To be called one of the best 20. I think what was it? Kay Cunningham said it. It'll tell me I'm at least one of the best 30 in the world. And honestly, you're one of the best 24 in the world. So, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the NBA had a perfect alley-oop for this one. You had the big Luka AD trade. You got a lot of notoriety for that. You just had the perfect, the NBA was talked about more than the Super Bowl for once in a long time. And, the Super Bowl was coming up the week, and I saw more videos about the Luka trade than I saw about anything NFL Super Bowl related. And then we had the Super Bowl we had anyway. But they had the perfect assist to really, get the eyeballs back on the game. And this is what they give us. I mean, I can't imagine too many people are excited about All-Star Weekend this year because, I mean, really the game is the only thing selling them because the game is a little different segue, and we're going to talk about that now. But other than that, what is there to see? We get to see, three-point shooters shoot. We get to see four guys that we really don't really care about dunk. And we get to see a skill challenge with some guys that pretty good. You got some decent names in that, but do people really care about a skills challenge? Probably not. So speaking of which, we have the All-Star game, which of course we said, we have the fillers, Kyrie for AD and Trae Young for Giannis. This year, I don't even know how it works. I think Big Nige, you know how this, because I know it's a tournament, but I don't know how it's going to be. I guess they'll play and then the team gets off the court and they play again. I'm not sure how this works.
I'm not entirely sure, like the whole logistics. Honestly, I just haven't put much thought into it. I think I had something written down before, but I mean, I know that they're gonna play against each other, and I think the winner of because the Rising Star is doing something similar. They have like Team Mitch, Team Tim, Team Jeremy. Team Jeremy is the team of G Leaguers. So they're gonna play against the Rising Star people. Team Tim has, Risa Shea, Alex Sarr, Tommy Hawkins Jr., a couple other names too. Like Derek Lively was supposed to be on Team Tim, but he went down, a while back ago. So he got replaced by Anthony Black, the Orlando Magic. Pajemski on Team Tim, he replaced Cason Wallace on Oklahoma City Thunder. So another solid piece for OKC. So that's Team Tim. I mean, I'm not going to keep going through the list, but you kind of get it. It's just a mix of the first or second year players, and they're going to play against each other. And the winner of that will then go and play All-Star Night and play against one of either, Team Shaq, Team Kenny, or Team Chuck. And
I'm gonna bring those teams up. So
I'm actually looking at this because they spelled Anthony Davis's name wrong. But only if I could show you my phone, because I have I've had this link pulled up for a few days. They updated it when they put Kyrie's name, but it'll literally say Davis like VIES, which is crazy.
Yes, Anthony Davis. Wow,
Davies. Okay, well, Anthony Davies won't be playing. So let's go through these teams. So I guess being an all-star starter doesn't really matter anymore because they have this. So anyway, here are Team Shaq's picks. LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kyrie, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, James Harden, and Jaylen Brown. I see a little theme there, but
Shaq is team nostalgia, I see.
Team old farts.
I guess he threw, oh wow, he actually picked up Dame Lillard. Remember they had that rap beef? Remember they had that?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
The first All-Star coach to have a rap beef with his player, right? Oh, Jesus. I mean, look, yeah, okay, so yeah, I mean, yeah, team nostalgia. Where's the center is? Wait a minute, Shaq didn't pick a center.
Durant.
Durant is gonna be the center. Okay, I mean, look, now I'm interested. I'm gonna see how you're gonna run a. You got
So
who's the point guard?
3 or 4?
So it's Kyrie Irving. He picked Davis, but
okay.
I guess he lost his center. Okay, so at the time he thought he was getting teammates, right?
That would have been interesting though. AD with LeBron after all that went on.
Yeah, would have. I'm sure they would. They remember they still label mates, so they would have played nice, right? Biggie and Craig Mack were named label mates, and they had a little beef too. So
I guess they both clutch sports, so they can't really be mad at each other.
Label mates.
Team Shaq. Team Chuck, Nikola Jokic, Trae Young replacing Giannis, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Victor Wembanyama, Pascal Siakam, Alperen Sengun, Karl Anthony Towns, and Donovan Mitchell. We see another theme here.
Yeah, he had all centers, bro. Okay. Well, I actually think he got the best. Even without even seeing seeing T. Kenny, I believe he had the best roster, right? So I mean, he had Giannis and Joker. Then he got Wemby and he got SC. Oh my God! Like he basically got the MVP leaderboard, basically, right? Okay. Karl Anthony Towns was in there before his little swoon, but yeah, that's a lot of bigs. He got is that I can't. It's blocked for me. Is that Spider or is that Garland?
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. Yeah, he got a nice guard. He doesn't have any wings. No wings, I guess, unless you Trae Young's not a wing. Yeah, no, Siakam is the closest thing to a wing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess you're gonna have to in the back. Yeah.
But
that's a good backcourt. That's actually a really good backcourt. Young being the only defensive liability, but Shea and Spider and Young, they can fill it up. That's a lot of passing, a lot of assists. Yeah, I think Chuck got the best. I think Chuck got the best roster. I think he got the best roster. You got big men who could do multiple things. Yeah, you got 4 centers who can do multiple things and go to
4 centers. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's a little. I guess these little roster. But again, are they going to play a series game now? I mean, yeah.
That's the question.
Look. I'm not going to expect 100. I'm not going to expect a 95% speed like they did when Kobe and Jordan was in the league. But give me 75. Give me 7. Because last year was 5. I'll give them 5%. They went at 5% speed. Yeah, I'll take 75% speed. Again, you're playing for something. You don't want to get ran by the young guys. Okay, you're on Kenny. Okay, so I see a theme here too.
So for Team Kenny, this last team, we got Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jalen Williams, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, and Tyler Hero.
He went for some defense. I see.
He went for something.
Yeah, you got the defense player of the year. You got Jalen Williams, the great defender. You got he got I think he got the best mix of traditional.
Well, what are they going to do against Jokic and Wemby? And
I mean, unless you tell me Triple J is up for but let you tell me. But he has the best traditional roster where I can see a wing point guard. You got 2 other point. Okay, you got Brunson and the Cunningham can both run the point. Cunningham is a big point. Right, he's a 6'8" guy that runs point. Oh, Garland as well.
Yeah.
So you got 3-point shooting, you got defending. Anthony Edwards, when he wants to, can defend. Right, so if you need to make some stops, and they actually play hard to do so, he might be up to the task. Again, you got a rim protector in Jared Jackson. You got a big cover guy in Jalen Williams. Again, I'm trying to analyze this as they're playing serious basketball, right? But it's not just going to be a layup line. But again, I'm praying that they give me 75% speed because this might be interesting. And then if I would predict the team is going to win and the Rising Stars. I couldn't even call it. But whoever comes out of it, nobody wants to lose to the Rising Stars, right? So you'll get an interesting game there. They're not doing a round robin. They're just doing, I think it's game 40 or something like that. A game.
They're just doing a little bracket where and
it's gonna be like a game 40 or first to 60 or something like that. They should do first to 60 because the way they shoot threes in the lack of defense, they'll get that in no time. But Jesus.
I'm assuming half court. I'm assuming this will be half court or full court.
No, it's got to be full court 5-on-5. I mean, if it's going to be half court, if it's not going to be 5-on-5 full court, I'm out. I'm out. I know I promised that I would watch every minute, but if you're going to bastardize it like that, I mean, again, you can run. If you're only going to 60 or you're playing like one half of basketball, you can, with eight guys, you can do that. You can go to 60, right? And then you're just playing 2 games. The winners will advance, and somebody's going to want the MVP tournament, the trophy, right? That kind of matters, right? Scottie Pippen can got one, so you want to be in. Michael Jordan got one. Magic Johnson got one. You want to be in that ilk, right? So if you're Jalen Brunson or if you're Cade Cunningham or Tyler Hero, you want to be in that esteemed class, even if the All-Star game is a joke. You still. Just like we said when we was naming All-Stars, right? Like being an All-Star is still an honor. It's still something that on your basketball reference page matters, right? You were a 7-time All-Star. That's something when you write your, when they make your case to the Naismith Hall of Fame, how many times were you an All-Star? That's gonna count for you. So it does matter, right? So being an All-Star game MVP, showing out for it. I mean, I remember they tried to. Somebody was saying LeBron tried to win it last year. Oh, AOH was saying, Angry Hoops fan was saying that he tried to win it last year. They tried to set it up for him to win it because that would have been another trophy on his mantle, but he couldn't make any shots, so Dame wound up winning it.
I remember him saying that. Yeah.
I mean, again, just take the game seriously. Just give us. Just put on the show, guys. You are the best in the world at what you do. I mean, that's the thing. When you are the best in the world at what you do, I was nice with math, and I couldn't wait to show off my math skills, man. I couldn't wait to show off, me solving algebra problems and me solving algebra problems and trigonometry, and all that. I couldn't wait to show it off, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
the kids at the spelling bee go harder.
I'd rather watch a spelling bee. I'd rather watch the All-Stars do a spelling bee than probably do what they're going to do. But are you guys interested in this All-Star game? Ultimately,
just because of the rosters, just out of curiosity, just kind of looking at the roster, look at the curiosity. I'm looking at the fact that these guys talk a little trash. They had a little chance to draft, do it a schoolyard style, pick up teams, right? Because that's what we had to do in the past, right? Do the schoolyard. Nobody wanted to be picked last, right? And the guy that's picked last, he's going to come out and show you, you shouldn't have picked me last. But then you're like, when you go out there and seeing everybody running 2 miles an hour and playing no defense, then. But yeah, I mean, I just out of curiosity, just to see if this works.
Big Naj, you think is this something you want to see?
I mean, Team Shaq is basically almost Team USA. So maybe Tatum kind of uses this as fuel and reminds the world of who he is with those guys on that on a similar roster. Is this something I want to see? I mean, it's something new. I'll give it a shot, but I think this could be something, and I'm not speculating, but as a fan, I would also counter the idea that you have this kind of format where you have a bunch of different players moving all different places, and maybe the league is maybe like potentially projecting where instead of the in-season tournament where it could potentially shift into this kind of like serpentine draft where you move all these big names to different teams. Maybe you have a Luka and Jokic pairing, and they have you felt the roster with whatever, because this could be a way to gauge fan interest into something bigger than just East versus West, than just some random names being put together for an all-star setting. Now you have more of a still a tournament like a March Madness, but now you got Luka and Jokic on the team. You got KD and Bron, or you have KD you put him on that Thunder team, and then you have them go at it. Like, it's just the limitless possibilities if you were to just plug players into different teams and just have them compete for a tournament, whatever, a cash prize pool or something. That's where my mind is going with this. Like, yeah, this is a cool idea. Is it going to be entertaining? It really depends if the players are going to play defense and actually try. But this could also be the NBA kind of just testing the waters with this before they, maybe soft launch it with another variation of the in-season tournament. Or maybe that replaces All-Star Weekend, and they have this kind of draft with different pieces and adding some of their teammates to maybe, like King Speech said, bring the narrative, bring a storyline. Like, did you see how good Luka and Jokic look together? Man, that's going to bring a lot of buzz for free agency in a couple of years. Who knows?
I mean, yeah.
The Thompson twins, maybe they link up. They showed out. They ball out in the Rising Star Challenge. Next thing you know, hey, the brothers might team up, and they might be a defensive dynamo for your team to handle. Things like that. That's where my mind is going with this. But it all depends on how the players play for this iteration of the team.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a do or die kind of situation. Adam Silver has been throwing things at the wall. Nothing's really stuck yet. A lot of that comes to what both have said is the players actually being, wanting to play and actually wanting to compete. And unfortunately, Adam Silver can't do that. And throwing money at him, I mean, how much more money do they need? I mean, these guys are getting paid millions and millions of dollars, like he said, and will probably make more as they go. You got a non-all-star like Jimmy Butler making $60 million. So how much more do they need to really, be convinced to go out there and play a game? But I think this might be it. If this doesn't work and we have a similar situation of last year, I think the All-Star weekend will kind of be irreparable because, fans are just not going to sit there and watch 3-4 hours of just guys just playing around and not even taking it serious. So why should I sit there and, waste my time watching you guys just play like just have a layup line or just fool around and shoot threes all night. That's just not what we want to see. We want to see guys competing. They don't have to go out there and beat each other up and play like this is game 7 of the NBA finals, but you want to see a little bit of heart and just wanting to really show what you got. We remember the Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum kind of matchup. That was something cool, and that is what you want to see, guys challenging each other. So maybe that one-on-one thing is something that Adam Silver might have to look at because who wouldn't want to see Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum teammates? Who wouldn't want to see the Thompson twins play against each other? Who wouldn't want to see Reece Sachet and Sarr play against each other? You want to see, and you have built-in storylines to all of those, and that's easy storylines. So maybe he's going to look at WNBA and just if the numbers aren't good this year for All-Star Weekend, maybe that's something to look at. That you just take guys, give them some type of incentive. Sunday, you have all those guys compete in a one-on-one tournament. And actually, I think that would be, do what the next chapter does. They just did a pay-per-view, which I heard wasn't, they didn't get off the ground, but that was, Frigga and was it Nasir had a big game, and a lot of people were talking about it. So maybe do that. I mean, I know LeBron might not compete, but I think a lot of the younger guys might. I'm not gonna say they will because we don't see them in the dunk contest either. But hopefully we get that, and hopefully this weekend will be at least watchable. So with that said, we're gonna move on to our community quarter to kind of finish things off. We had a couple of people do the poll this week, and what came up this week was which duo should have never broken up in the NBA. Ooh. So that is our question. Like you said, for this, no, we don't have to deep dive. You don't have to give numbers and percentages and none of that. It's just whatever's off the top of your head. What duo would have wanted to never broke up in the NBA? And anybody want to start?
I'll start. I got Gary Payton. It's funny. I'll go to the Sonics and OKC Thunder lore. Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. We all know kind of what happened here. Sean Kemp got this is back in the 90s. In the 90s, where the money was not crazy, where it just started to blow up. I mean, you're talking about an era where a $3 or $4 million contract was a big deal. Now that's league minimum money. Yeah, that's veteran minimum money now. And the situation was that Kemp was locked into a long-term contract, and they gave a guy like Joe McIlvaine, the infamous Joe McIlvaine, who had a nice 1 point and 1 rebound year in Washington, and they wound up giving him more money than Sean Kemp was making, but Sean Kemp was locked into a deal. Scottie Pippen was the only guy beefing about his contract back then. And Sean Kemp pretty much after that became a lazy guy, and then he became a FF, they said I saw what's her name, the old Lyft girl on she said the F word, right? The F people word, right? But he became an FF. He became a fat guy, put it that way. And that was it. And I mean, next thing you know, he was traded for Ben Baker. Went to Milwaukee, wound up in Orlando and all that. I mean, just was a shell of himself. But I wanted to see how far that duo can go, because 96 got to the finals. They almost, they didn't say they almost won. They were down 3-0. But they gave Jordan and them a big kind of scare, almost taking at the game 7. And they should have been able to, again, they tried to get a center, and they gave Joe McIlvaine, for whatever reason, that big contract. And that pretty much sparked a lot of jealousy. So and then you would kind of go to the Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant thing back, go another 20-something years after that. And obviously again, you had a situation where the money started getting crazy because of the big cap expansion of 2016 with the new TV deal. And Kevin Durant took a perfect opportunity to go to Golden State. But again, I mean, I like to say, man, look, the 4 years they were together, both healthy, they made it to the conference finals every year, and they made it to the finals a year earlier than expected. They beat Big Nines Spurs, and again they ran into the yeah. Oh yeah, both of y'all both Spurs fans. So he
Lakers. He Lakers.
He's Lakers. Oh, you the Spurs guy. Okay. Yeah. He brought his boy in. It was a Spurs fan. Yeah. But that duo could have went a lot further. Also, again, a lot of people don't realize they traded Harden before Harden even got a chance to become a superstar himself. Yeah, those are two. But I think Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, I think, honestly, I don't think they've really appreciated each other, because Russ, while he can go nut, he's also that guy that just don't give a crap and can go off when you need him to. When he can take it when you need him to. But then Kevin Durant sometimes a little passive. So I think they were each other's yin to the yang, but I don't think they wound up appreciating what each other brought to the table. But together they made some beautiful music. So Those are the two. Again, being it was the same franchise historically, that's why I kind of went there.
Okay. Big Nine, who you got?
I got two that comes to mind. The first one I won't speak too much on, but obviously I know you guys know this better than I do. But Shaq and Penny, always a big one. I mean, again, Shaq and Kobe, that's always the biggest what if. That's the easy one. But I'm gonna spend more time on LeBron and Kyrie. I think all those finals runs, because they went four straight?
They went three because Kyrie wasn't there for the last finals run.
Oh, that's right. Now LeBron went by himself in the fourth one. Okay, yeah. So
he went with Kevin Love.
Yeah, went with Kevin Love.
Get into that.
J.R. Smith. Yeah.
J.R. Smith and whoever else was in that deal. I know Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas.
But all jokes aside, like what that duo did together, all those final trips they had, coming back down 3-1 and beating the 73-9 win Golden State Warriors, like that's a piece of history that like will never be taken away from them. And even Kyrie himself, as he grew up and once he asked out and had the experiment in Boston, had his time in Brooklyn, and then now where he's at in Dallas, he reflected on it, and I'm not gonna say he regretted his decision because everybody, they live with their decisions at the end of the day, but it's just kind of that big what if, because Kyrie's game, it still translates to today's age, and even in his advanced stage, even though he's not super old, I think he's like 32 now, but he's getting up there in age. We see what LeBron's doing right now at 40. I'm just thinking if they didn't break up in 2017 and kind of, could they have got another championship? Could LeBron got another one or two? It kind of depends on how they would have fleshed out the roster. But I mean, I would have I think LeBron would have stayed in Cleveland. I think he would have retired in Cleveland and kept Kyrie as his running mate. Maybe they do something with the rest of the roster. I don't know what that means for Kevin Love, the J.R. Smiths, and the rest of that team. But if you keep your solid duo of LeBron and Kyrie, I like their chances, as time went on. Obviously not against that Kevin Durant Golden State Warriors team, but that was also short-lived. They handed LeBron a few L's, yes, but then they dispersed. It's almost like Thanos and the Infinity Stones. They just gone, so it wasn't going to be a cataclysmic NBA meltdown with that Warriors team. So, that was for me because I got to see them up close and all the big shots that Kyrie hit with LeBron. So, yeah, it's always a big what if, in my opinion, because those two were very dynamic together, and they were still at the peak of their powers when they stepped away from each other.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of unfortunate. How they just couldn't make that work long term. You said mine, which was Penny Hardaway and Shaquille O'Neal, who I thought was the perfect 1-2 punch back then. They were a young team. They were kind of like, he's talking about the OKC Thunder. They ran to a very tough Houston Rockets team in the finals. Was that 95? So was it 95 or 94? I think it was 95.
95. It was 95.
After they got rid of Jordan and the boys, and that was a tough matchup. That was a tough matchup for Shaq. That was a tough matchup. I mean, Penny did his thing, but Hakeem was just on another level that year. That was one of the toughest championships. I did a video on this ever. Was that 95 Houston Rockets championship win? But yeah, I think what'd you say?
They would have beat the Bulls, that 95 Houston team.
Oh, no. They
book it. What's Chuck said? Guarantee.
Very,
you can deep dive like that later. I mean, it could. That's very true. They could have, because, that Bulls team was tired of beating everybody. So, got to let somebody else win something. But
yeah, I'm trying to understand how Luke Longley guards Hakeem Olajuwon. Barbecue. Jack would say barbecue chicken.
I mean,
barbecue.
We get Dennis. I mean, we would have got Dennis a little early, but so since I said that one, another one that I back in my time was Stephon Marbury and Kevin Garnett. That's
a good one.
They were two guys that because me and my friend, that's what we called each other on the blacktop. I was Kevin Garnett. He was Stephon Marbury. So they were big time. They were big time guys. I thought if Marbury had stayed, I don't know if they had won anything, but I think they worked so well together, in my opinion, that they could have really, gone to another level. It was tough back then because, of course, you had Shaq and Kobe and had those Spurs teams. So it was going to be a tough time for those Timberwolves anyway. But I just think if they had stayed the course a little longer, they might have gotten the pieces to really, to get to that next level. But I thought they kind of ended that duo kind of early. But that's, I just love their game because I felt like just like Penny and Shaq, I just felt that they were like a yin and yang, and they could have really, and they played off of each other very well. And they could have, I don't know if they could win a championship, but I think they could have at least got into a conference finals. I don't know. The West was way too tough back then, but I just hated that they ended that duo so early.
Yeah, they had AAU chemistry back from high school, man. They knew of each other. They were the same McDonald's All-American class, right? Obviously KG went straight 1 year. Steph was the one, and he went straight out of high school. Steph was the one and done, and they wound up on the same team. I thought, they got pieces like Anthony Peeler, Malik Sealy. They got some centers next to KD. I think they would have. I think KG. I mean, I think they would have done some damage. At least got to a couple conference finals.
Yeah,
that would have been in that mix.
Back then was, unless they just got very lucky. But
Steph used to openly call it Minnesota, and he was pretty much homesick, so he forced his way. The Knicks weren't in a position to trade for him. He was a Knicks fan more than but he settled on coming to New Jersey because he wanted to hang out in Coney Island, eat some Nathan's, man.
And he messed up a good thing, I thought. But
yeah, he wanted to be back on the block. I mean, I'm a Brooklyn boy too. I got a little homesick my little time in the service, so. That's how it goes. But he grew up in, next thing you know, he wound up in Phoenix and then back to New York.
What you want, to be home or you want a championship ring? You gotta weigh your options.
I think you're right about that. I don't think he was thinking about that. I don't think he was thinking like that. I thought he was good enough to bring one to New Jersey or something like that. But no, it wasn't happening.
No, not that team. But with that said, we're going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you guys for watching, listening. If you're come here once we put it up on Spotify, thank you guys. We saw a jump in our audio only listen, so thank you guys. If you want to listen to us while you're working out or on the road to work or wherever, coming home from work, please continue to help to listen to us and help us out. Please follow us on those social media platforms. Also, thank you guys here on YouTube for liking and subscribing to the channel. 5 away from that 200 sub goal. So if you hear this,
I'll get you there, bro. Also want to announce that the 10 Toes Down podcast is we're doing a little pilot on this Thursday. Big Nige was talking about something about basically when we said about that last finals run with Cleveland. One of the topics that I want to get into is what do you consider superstar help? Like, I know we talk about the help word, right? This guy didn't have enough help, so we're gonna get into that. What defines superstar help? And we'll look back historically, things like that. And who, because especially considering this trade going on right now. I mean, the trade that just happened. Well, is Luka LeBron's help or LeBron Luka's help? So we're gonna get into that. What do you consider? Yeah. What do you consider help? Like, what is, do you need 5 all-stars around you, or do you need, good solid players and solid, role players and stuff like that. So we're gonna get into that. Me and my guys, we're gonna talk about, that and a few other topics. So just be on the lookout for that. And man, I'm trying to get that podcast going, man.
Okay, so yeah, that will be happening here on the channel, on the GOATcast podcast channel. So we will have 10 Toes Down podcast Thursday, I believe, at 8:30.
Yeah, between 8:30 and 9:30. Look out.
Okay, so yeah.
Once I get my guys know when they can pull up, then we'll get the time down. But yeah, between right between that Eastern Standard, because those two guys out there, I know they live in the Central Time Zone, so that's 7:30 their time. So this is
definitely make sure to come back this Thursday and check out King's Speech and 10 Toes Down podcast. Of course, we'll always have some basketball with Big Nige, some court awareness with CW. So we got, and GOAT Talk only will be back. Friday was just not a good night for me. I was kind of tired, and it's been a long week. I was sitting in a gym most of the night, so
it was all of us, man. Yeah, all of us kind of was on that.
Yeah, I just didn't have the energy Friday to go, but
then we had to get ready for the Super Bowl.
Exactly. So it was just not a good night for me, but for my other channel, GOATcast Hoops, I will be going live, I believe, Saturday during All-Star Saturday, and just kind of live reacting, live grading what I see. So if you want to come join there, please do. So yeah, that's kind of wrap it up this week. We thank you guys for watching, listening. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Big Nige, any parting words on your side?
Nope. Just appreciate everybody pulling up to the show. Definitely stay tuned because there's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be a GOAT talk or panel discussion, but I'm going to bring it up now because what King's Speech had brought up about the finals help. We also are going to be talking about, the super team discussion that me and you had.
We definitely have to.
Do super teams exist? And we'll definitely be breaking that down. He thinks they don't. You'll see where I stand. We're definitely going to have that discussion. So definitely be on the lookout for that super team discussion as well.
Yeah, we definitely have to revisit that because we did this off air, but we're going to do it on air so that you guys can know that there's super teams do not exist. So with that said, we are going to finish out tonight and hope you guys join us Thursday for King's Speech and 10 Toes Down, the 10 Toes Down podcast. So appreciate you guys and be back very soon.